I mean, it's so interesting, right? Again, talking about the year that you've had, because it's so interesting going from All Stars 4, where you were so front and center, to at least from our perspective. Obviously, there's a lot to get into with season 40, but from our perspective, it really seemed like this was more of a season where it was a little bit more of, you being into the background, at least compared to what you had recently experienced coming back to the challenge. Was that the case for you as well, from your perspective?
I wouldn't call it being in the background at all, actually. The people that have been by my side since my OG seasons are thrilled about this season. They're like, this is the first season, man, that we see you having fun,
Yeah.
you're happy, you're relaxed. Like, we love this for you. Um, whereas every other season I've been front and center because people vote me in nonstop or target me nonstop or come after me or make fun of me or whatever. And I don't think that's a fun reason to be at the center of attention. So um this is the first time that I'm able to like relax, enjoy. I mean, I came in, I beat everybody except for Laurel on the first challenge. I've come in first when I needed to save myself. I've um came in second on this last challenge that second on a few of them. Like, I think I've competed really well. I think people are just used to me being attacked nonstop, therefore being the center. And so I've really enjoyed not having to have my back against a wall for an entire season. So I appreciate this time off. And if people want to say that that's me being in the background, then Lord, call me wallpaper. Do you
Exactly.
like the
There.
green hair, by the way?
Oh my God, I love it.
Go
Absolutely.
on.
I love it. I mean, it's the new era of Kara, your green era.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about where things finish, because to your point about this being a very different season compared to what we've gotten from you, especially as of late. I mean, it's a little bit of that Paul Rudd meme with you and Tori, right? Of like, look at us. Who would have thought? I mean, maybe an inevitability of the two of you facing off in a certain regard, but even leaving things in that season 39 reunion, right? When there was back and forth as to like who's, the greatest female challenger, just to watch the two of you come together in such an interesting and emotional way, to the point where you're facing off against each other, but like warmly embracing each other by the end of it. Talk to me about what that was like from your perspective.
We started off as button heads. You know what I mean? We definitely both have our past and our reasons why. Um, and we talked about those in detail on camera, but it went more of a foot fetish route. The Johnny's feet club took precedent over why me and Tori, what we talked through and how we became friends, but that's just what it is. It's what the fans wanted. Um, so, uh, but we came in butting heads, but I think Johnny and Laurel made themselves so like, look at us. We're your rivals. Bang, 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 bang. Cara, don't look anywhere else. Look at us. Pay attention to us, as Laurel and Johnny would do. So I did. And I think with me focused on them, I couldn't be like, oh shit, Josh, Tori, Amanda, Jordan. Like, I couldn't be like, because I got, Johnny and Laurel in front of me making themselves the most known. And so I think with that, everybody else kind of dialed back a little bit. And I think when it came to, me and Tori, I really developed a respect for how strong she's become in this game
Mm.
from when I was there on her first season to she's done nonstop challenges, nonstop. She has not had a break. And so with that, you should ideally become really good at what you do. Some people clearly don't, but she did. And you could tell she put in the work. She trained before this challenge. She told me she was training like 4 hours a day, running on the beach, doing math problems, doing puzzles, going swimming. Like, she was intensive boot camps, like working out before this season. She wanted to win. She knew the level of women competition was going to be through the roof. And she put in the work and it showed. And I was competing against the best version of Tori that has ever competed. And I saw her against, like against Jenny, against Rachel, against the strongest woman that you could ever compete against. So you can't take anything away from Tori and how she competed. And she competed with respect for the game and respect for her competitors. And that was something I think when she really showed herself to me after we had numerous conversations going over, like we started talking, we came to a point when it was singles. And I think it was the first singles challenge where I
Mm.
came in second and she came in first. Um, And I was running and I went to go put the ball because our out of a random draw, it was me and Tori next to each other at the end of the
Oh.
field, right? And Tori was at the very end and I was right next to her and I was running and I went to go put my ball in her tube. And she yelled at me. She goes, Cara, that's mine. That's mine. Don't put in there. That's mine. Whereas realistically, she could have just let me put it in hers, laughed about it, taken the point, and I would have had to run extra laps.
Mm.
She yelled at me and I heard her and I'm like, oh crap. And I put it in mine. And afterwards I was like, Tori, I'm like, thank you for doing that. And she goes, no problem, Cara. She's like, if I beat you, it's because I really want to know that it's because I did my best and it was fair, not because you made a stupid mistake. And I was like, but what if I did put my ball in yours and I didn't hear you? And she's like, I would have put mine in yours. And I was like, so it's a sort of it's a different kind of respect now that I have for Tori because of her genuine love of the competition. And I don't see her wanting women to do bad. I don't see her wanting bad things to happen to me on this season. Whereas it's different with Laurel, where, Laurel would foam at the mouth for a chance only for a physical elimination so that she could embarrass me. She loves embarrassing me. She loves when people say I suck or I'm not good. Whereas I feel like Tori genuinely loves the competition.
Mm.
Tori would never quit like Laurel did, on that purge. Tori would never disrespect the game like Laurel did.
Mm.
They're both good competitors, but there's a different mentality that makes me respect the way Tori has grown and the way that she plays now.
Well, the other sort of side of that, in terms of, again, the strange bedfellows of it all, is Michelle. Now, you don't have nearly as long of a history as you do with Tori, but even going back to the purple jacket of it
Yeah.
all, what's so interesting is that you mentioned a couple times how much you saw that kind of proto version of yourself from that Rivals One-esque era in someone like Michelle, especially in the way that she was being treated by Laurel, by someone like Bananas, especially that individual portion. So talk to me about how that formed, because I feel like, again, Battle of the Eras, it must have been such an interesting thing to kind of have this out of body experience and see that version of yourself all over again.
When it comes to Michelle, I didn't really know her. I knew she took part in sending Polly home. We had she was kind of when I went into 39, I remember I had actually run into Laurel ahead of time. And even though me and Laurel were weird around each other, we were able to talk before I went into that elimination. And Laurel was actually the one that was like, who are you gonna vote in? You should vote in Michelle. Michelle's this, Michelle's that. And I was like, all right, but like I didn't know any of the girls, and then when it came down to it, I was like, well, I guess fucking this one. You know what I mean? And in that moment, I didn't know. Anyway, long story short, me and Michelle clearly had a little bit of a pass, not as much of a pass as everybody else, but like mostly what I see with Michelle is that she leads with her heart and she works really hard and she doesn't have like the body of like a Jenny. You know what I mean? She doesn't have that physical intimidation character, but like she really works really hard to stay. Um, but she also leads with her heart in the way that like if people are mean to her and push her down, she'll be like, well, but why? But why don't you like me? But why? Like, why are you treating me like this? Or like, can we be friends? Oh, they're giving me a breadcrumb. They're being nice to me. Like, oh, everything's okay. And then she's the type of person that people like Johnny can control and manipulate. She's the type of person that someone like Laurel could play her sadistic game of like, you know, push you down, give you a hand, then push you back down. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And I saw a lot of myself, early young Cara Maria, in Michelle. And, she's a fighter, but she's also like a fighter in the game with the odds stacked against her. But she also needs to put like I don't know how to explain it. Like in who she allows into her life. She needs to put more confidence into who she is on her own and doesn't need to prove herself to people that just want to use her or see her fall.
Mm.
And I
So,
wanted to protect her.
yeah, so you talk about, luckily this season not needing to play with your back against the wall. For what it's worth, when it started, maybe that wasn't the case. I mean, you get
No.
sent into elimination against Kellyanne. You lose Polly within the first elimination. obviously everything that happened with that Laurel confrontation, which as we know behind the scenes turned, more personal than we initially saw. How did all of that affect the way that you approach things afterwards? Because it did feel like, again, from our perspective, you kind of went into this, like, for lack of a better term, free agent mode. I'm looking for number one. I'm not going to get in the middle of this sort of dynamic that's brewing. How did all those initial events impact the way that you approach things moving forward?
I think people don't understand. It's so easy because it's been such a long season. It's so easy to just forget what happened in the beginning. It's so easy to forget how I literally came from All Stars being targeted nonstop, going into multiple eliminations, to getting right into my first flagship in a long time, the most important flagship, 40 competitors, coming in second, beating Johnny, and still let Johnny having the power just because he's a guy. I should have done that as Carl. Maybe I would have been able to do the voting, to be honest, and maybe I will next time. Um, but and then Johnny still having the power to put me in. Do you know what I mean? And then Laurel being right up there, beating me and then putting me in. And it was just like a constant like boom, 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 like I'm dodging bullets. So it's a lot. And then for everybody just forgets about it. And that was like coming into a season, that's the hardest thing that you never want to happen to you. You want to be able to warm up and get comfortable. And so right off the bat, from going to All Stars where I was in defense mode the entire time, I got thrown again right into defense mode. And it was like but I think that's a good way to open up because as soon as I
Mm.
won, I got the confidence. I made it through the purge. Um, I knew who my enemies were, obviously. And with Polly there and me not having any other number ones except for obviously like CT. Like I'll always, root and look out for CT, Darrell, and even Theo, my partner, even
Mm.
though, I think him and Polly, I don't know. Um, but, you know, I think that, I was just able to just, I don't know, just I don't know. It was a lot with Laurel. It was a lot. I literally immediately left era 1 and 2 side, which sucked because I didn't get to hang out with CT. Even was sad. We had like a CT and Cara night. He's like, you never come to this side of the house, and I'm like, because Laurel and Johnny are there, and I have to walk by them every time, and I don't want to be around Laurel at fucking all. And so I immediately, after that elimination, took all of my stuff, and I was living in era four's side of the house from then on.
Wow. So
So.
on that note, perhaps if you keep in the Carl wake for future seasons, I mean, let's talk about future seasons because, like we mentioned at the very beginning, big year for you. The first time in a while that you made your way back, and you did in a big way in these two seasons. But again, you leave season 40 in maybe one of the most unique sort of like headspaces you ever have in the challenge compared to all the other ways that it's been for you. So, if there's a season 41, All Stars 5, 6, beyond, how are you approaching these future seasons now that you not only have some people perhaps by your side that you might not thought you would in the beginning of this, but also have kind of now been through, like you said, this kind of like rare space of breathing room to be able to have fun and embrace this part of your challenge experience?
I don't know. I honestly, I perform the best and I need to change this mentality when my back's against the wall, when nobody believes in me, when everybody's attacking me. I'm like, I am good in survival mode. That's the only way that I've ever known how to play this game. And this is the first game, aside from I think War of the Worlds 2, I started off in survival mode, but like once Laurel was eliminated, Polly and Cam rallied an entire group of misfits to like band together till the end. So then I was sitting pretty after that. But this season I was able to like it's a feeling I've never had before. And I honestly I think I don't want to end up like a Josh in a way that he's cool with everybody.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like when you're kind of cool with everybody, you who are you loyal to? Who's your number one? And I feel like I'm not at this point anybody's number one except for Polly or CT, I'd say, or maybe Darrell if he comes back. But um, yeah, I don't know. I only know how to play survival, so that's probably what I'll do. It's win or go in at all times. That's why target be damned, whether I'm a target or not. It's like you gotta win, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, that being said, again, even though it wasn't a capital W win this time around, I mean, I feel like it was definitely a win in a certain way, considering that, like, again, to your point, you were able to, and Michelle even talked about it on this episode, it felt like we got to see even a different side of you than we've experienced no matter how many times you've played this game. And, especially in an environment that is so pressurized, and especially to your point about that beginning, can be so intensely negative. It's been
Let
really nice to watch this season for you.
no, no, this was a win. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, this was a win because going into this final is starting in a boat in the middle of the ocean. I think I'm good. All right.
You
I think I won. And then, oh, by the way, there's popularity votes at the end of it. All right. I think I'm good.
Yeah, you've heard that song before. I think you're fine without the deja vu there.
I swear to God, like that, it sucks because this is breaking my streak to making it to a finals. And I literally was touching the final. So record wise, that's tough. But I think looking at this final on a boat in the middle of the ocean, it wouldn't be a really good sign for me looking at the other girls as like the best swimmers that have ever been on the challenge. Do you know what
Mm.
I mean? It would
Hmm.
just be me, average Joe, them, really good swimmers, us, boat. I don't, I think I'm good. I
Yeah.
think I won. I think I did everything I needed to do, and it ended in a very full circle way with me and Tori, and I think I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're able to make your way back to land in one piece and get the time to talk with me today. I've really enjoyed all the conversations that we've gotten to have, and I can't wait for more to happen. As it seems like you really are fully welcomed back into the community here with open arms with these 2 seasons. And no matter what the circumstances might be of any season and beyond, I cannot wait to see what happens with you moving forward, and hopefully this new era
Thank
for
you.
Cara. So thank
Should
you
I
as always.
should I keep the green hair
Oh,
or should I
absolutely.
or red for competition? I don't know.
I mean, listen, right now it's very holiday based, but manifest the green coming into your bank account next season, and color
Yeah.
color theory, make it work. Well, thank you as always for taking the time to chat. Always great getting to talk
Thank
with you,
you.
and happy holidays, wishing you and yours nothing but the best, Cara. Thanks so much.
Merry Christmas.
You as well. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.